to TVC Live, episode 19. Holy crap, I've done this 19 times, guys. That's awesome. I just Googled it, and I was like, it said yesterday started the 22nd week. So I've only taken 3 weeks off. I think that's pretty good. So how are you guys doing tonight? Welcome. This is episode 19. If it's free, it's for me, and we've got some boondocking tips coming at you from Unknown Normal. You might remember them from episode 2. They were our second virtual spotlight, and they shared some of their RV story, and like a really terrible story about basically almost breaking their RV the first time they tried to move it. So you might remember that. I see a lot of people. Awesome. Hey, Johnny. Johnny, as you guys know, he's trying to go full time. He said, good evening. I had my first of several garage sales last weekend and sold my car too. Wow. Congratulations, Johnny. That is freaking stellar. Heidi's here from South Dakota. Wow, she's been moving around. Just last month she was in Alabama, so that's awesome. Jerry's here rolling down the trails. Hello from Wisconsin. Hey guys, and if you're catching the replay, make sure you put like hashtag replay or where you're from in the comments. I love seeing that you guys watch it. So, Barbara says turn up your sound. Maybe if I move my mic, or she's totally right. Turn up my sound. It's pretty low. I was literally just talking to Andy and Lezlie, our guests, saying, oh, I always forget to mute myself and unmute, and here I am, like, at low sound. Does that sound better? Hopefully. All right, well, I'll keep moving. So, let's... Oh, yeah, everyone says, your sound is way low. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. I'll turn it up just a little more. All right, everybody says that's a lot better. Barbara, you are a gem among the rocks, darling. Thank you for telling me that. Otherwise, this whole thing would have been a wash. All right, let's...
What?
I'm just going to say shit right now because this is irritating. I can't believe I just muted myself after talking about muting myself. Oh my gosh, now I'm really sweating. Oh my gosh. So nobody heard me for the last minute about the shout out. I will just give you a synopsis. Sorry for all you replay people. Oh my gosh, this is going really well. I was just bragging about doing this 19 times, and now I'm an infant again. Everybody's laughing. That's great. All right. Jerry says, now you're loud and clear. All right. I'm not going to touch anything else tonight, I promise you guys. I'm not going to try to make myself just a little louder and then accidentally mute myself. Anyway, I'm just giving a shout out to Miss Cupcakeosaurus, damn it. I'm trying really hard to shout her out right now. She was the first follower that I ever met. She lives really close, and this is a rum cupcake, which you probably don't care about anymore, with a peach schnapps frosting, and it's really good. Miss Cupcakeosaurus, if you're ever in Tampa, look her up because she's got amazing cupcakes. All right. Well, does size matter? Oh, I love you guys. It says, I know this is what makes your show great. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
So,
Let me swallow my pride and say thank you. All right. So next, I do. Now I know what's going on. Okay, so I must have accidentally hit some setting. I did notice I just muted myself again, but I'm not muted now. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is like a curse right now. Is it summer yet? All right, so this is a new segment I'm going to do. It's called CSA, Campground Service Announcement. And this is basically some things that have really been bothering me this week about the campground I'm in, and I just want to give like a CSA. All right, so hopefully when I go to the next screen, it won't mute me. So let's try this, you guys. Hold your breath. It did mute me. I have no idea what the hell is going on. All right, but anyway, now I know. All right, so I just want to give this CSA, this campground service announcement. Y'all see this dirty, nasty, hairy drain. If you use the campground showers and you have long hair, man, woman, child, whatever, check your drain. This is just disgusting. I do not shower in my rig. You guys probably know that. I've shared that a ton of times. I have to shower in the campground shower because my husband's 6'5" and has a ton of clothes, and we live in a Class C motorhome that has no storage. So we have to use our shower as our storage. And the campground shower that I'm at lately, somebody has been leaving their nasty hair in the drain, and I've got to clean it up, and my daughter wants to play with it, and it's just nasty. So, campground service announcement, please do not do this. If you think you didn't, you just brushed your hair, no hair came down on the drain, it did. Please clean it up. It's disgusting. Johnny says, what if you don't have any hair? Well, if you don't have any hair, Johnny, then you're in luck, buddy. This one's not for you. All right, so muted again. What the hell? All right, so this is campground service announcement number 2. So this is another thing that happened yesterday in the bathroom. Coming with the jokes, you guys. So I went into the bathroom. I just had to pee. I was on a walk. Open up door number 1. No, thank you. Close that door. Open up door number 2. Oh my gosh. What is wrong with people? These people in this campground are so nasty. I don't know if it was Memorial Day weekend. Everybody's drunk, having a good time, on vacation. I don't know what was going on. But anyway, I thought to myself, Liz, campers are good people. I just had this really great newsletter talking about the value of Rving and all this. I'm like, these campground people cannot be this disgusting. Like the hair thing, okay, maybe you're like me, you take your glasses off, you can't see in the shower. All right, I'll give you that. But the bathroom thing, I'm like, why? So I start looking around for a plunger. I look in like all the little stalls, everywhere there's no plunger. So this is a campground service announcement for campground owners. Please put a plunger in your bathroom. We are trying to clean up after ourselves and we cannot. So if you got low flow in your campground, please put a plunger in there. Thank you. Alright, so then the plunger can look like this. The plunger can look like this. Or the plunger can look like this. I don't care what it looks like. Please get a plunger. Ron says ew. Yeah, sorry I had to go there tonight, but I did. Started out with some shitty microphone situation, and now we're on the poop jokes. That's what you're getting tonight. That's my mood this evening. So on to the next. Hopefully it doesn't mute me when I change the scene here. Nope, you can still hear me. Awesome. Mike says, what's wrong with the sound? Mike, you actually might be watching about 5 minutes ago or something, but the sound should be fine now. Anyway, those are my shout outs and my CSA. If you guys like those new segments, let me know in the comments or email me or shout me out on Facebook, anything. Let me know what you thought. So tonight we are going to be talking about boondocking with Andy and Lezlie. Like I said, they were on episode 2 for the virtual spotlight. And I've also mentioned them in a few different episodes because we actually met, I guess, about 2 months ago at the end of March, and they were really great. I said, hey, come over for dinner, and they said, what do you like? And I said, oh, tacos. They said, okay, we'll make tacos. And then a couple hours later, I realized they were making dinner and driving to my RV. And I said, you guys, I do live in an RV and I have a kitchen as well, if you'd like me to cook. And they said, no, we love to cook, all that. So they brought the whole shebang over, and it was really funny because they opened up their cooler, and I think like the sour cream or something had exploded, and it was everywhere. And you can hear them laughing in the background because, like I said, this campground has low flow. So we're trying to rinse off like all the utensils, the bowls, everything. It was just not working because I barely ever have any water. It seriously takes like 3 minutes to fill this 32-ounce cup because my water is just so bad. But anyway, what a great way to introduce them. Let's bring them out now. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey, we're good, Liz.
We're doing well.
All right, I just want to apologize one more time. I don't know what's wrong with my settings, but anytime I switch scenes here, it's muting you. So give it like a 3-second delay. Anytime I ask you a question, just give it like a 3-second delay. Sorry, guys. But welcome.
Okay.
I'm super excited to finally have you guys on the show as guests. You guys are my boondocking experts. You boondocked what? It was something like 250 days last year or something?
That's about right. Yeah.
So by the time we started last year, it was April. There were 265 days left in the year, I think, and we boondocked for 242 of those days. So almost the entire rest of the year. Once we started, we loved it, and we barely looked back. Yep.
Wow, that's really amazing. So in case they didn't, somebody watching didn't watch episode 2, can you give us just a brief description on how you got into RVing?
Yeah. We spent about 18 months researching, getting out on the road. We had a business that we were just kind of starting and growing, and we could do it remotely. So we started to think, hey, we can do this RV travel thing. We were seeing other people doing it, talking about it on social media. So we started researching it, and 18 months later.
Yeah, we basically just couldn't decide where we wanted to live. We were living in Texas at the time. We knew that was a temporary thing when we moved there. We had some ideas of other places to live that we just weren't that excited about. So when we did start reading about other people our age out there having a remote business, traveling wherever they wanted to, that really, really sounded appealing. So we kind of looked at each other one day and went, hey, so I heard about this thing. And oh yeah, I heard about that too. And then, like Andy said, from there, we spent 18 months researching everything that we could possibly find.
Anything.
Yeah, we didn't know anything. Neither of us had ever even been in an RV before that. So, yeah, we researched everything. We spent 18 months figuring it out. And then we hit the road in July of 2017.
Okay, I don't think I'm muted. Okay, I'm not. I think there's someone watching that's delayed, because sometimes when you hit a YouTube live and it's already started, it starts from the beginning, because they keep asking in the comments, what's wrong with the sound? I feel bad. They'll catch up. But anyway, so first of all, I just think that's amazing, because we didn't even spend a night in Walmart until, I don't know, like 2 years into RVing. So I just think that's, you went from like nothing, doing all this research, to just, like going for it and, like figuring it out. So let's talk about how you define boondocking and all the other different, like, I know there's a lot of different terms. So can you guys go over those as well?
Yeah. There's not a actual definition for boondocking. It's kind of just a term that comes out of boating, like living on a boat and docking it somewhere out in the boonies. And RVers kind of adopted the term, and so it's kind of have some other meanings. But our definition that we've come up with is off-grid vehicle camping on undeveloped land. Usually it's free, but it can be paid as well. So that's kind of like the all-inclusive definition of boondocking that we come up with. Dry camping is another term that like the Forest Service uses for camping without hookups and things like that.
A lot of people use them pretty interchangeably.
Yeah. Dispersed camping, primitive camping, those are all kind of the similar terms for camping that is out in the woods or without hookups and dry.
And then there is hookup camping, which is basically if you have electric hookup, water hookup, or sewer hookup, a lot of times all three. That's what we have dubbed hookup camping. I don't know if there's an actual term for it or not, but that's what we use. Then, like you said, Walmart, that's lot docking. If you stay in a parking lot somewhere that's established, kind of in the city or in a populated area, we've started to call that lot docking, and I've seen that in some of the forums and stuff, right? And then one of the newer ones that I've definitely seen around is mooch docking. So if you're mooching off of someone you know or family, you go stay on their land, you park in their driveway, you hook up maybe to their orange extension cord and get their electric, we call that mooch docking. And I know I've definitely seen that term around. So there's a lot of different terms, and a lot of times they're used interchangeably. Boondocking often will apply to kind of any of those. But when we use it, when we talk about boondocking, it's really being out in nature, not being attached to any sort of hookups. And being out on our own most of the time.
Right. I saw today in the comments, somebody said something about wally docking, and you said, oh, no way, that's not boondocking. That's a little different. And I'm trying to adjust my volume for you guys. I do see you in the comments. I can't tell who's. They said they can hear you guys fine, but I'm still a little off. But I've turned up my volume all the way, so hopefully that will be better. So what made you guys decide in the first place to say yes to boondocking? Because I know for me, I looked at it and I said, oh, no way, I'll just make more money. I want a pool. I'm like the Little Mermaid. I want to be where the people are. So, what made you say, yeah, that's the way I want to go, whether that was, for financial purposes or personality or maybe a little bit of both?
Sure. Yeah. So it's actually funny that you say you're like the Little Mermaid. You want to be where the people are. I actually bought a shirt after we started on the road that says, I want to be where the people aren't. And it has the Little Mermaid on it, or a mermaid on it. So that kind of was, our biggest, or at least one of the big motivators for us was hey, we like to be sort of out on our own. We like to be separated from big crowds and cities and stuff like that. And then the other thing you said was with finances, that definitely was a big part of it too. Like Andy said earlier, we were and still are developing a business. And so we're very conscious about the money that's coming in versus the money that's going out. And boondocking is the cheapest way to go for sure. So we want to see beautiful places, and between trying to be financially smart and wanting to see beautiful places. You can see beautiful places in really nice RV parks, but oftentimes you're going to pay a little bit more, whereas you can go for free a lot more sometimes. Whereas you can go for free out on public lands and things like that and see those beautiful places without having to shell out the big bucks for the RV resorts and stuff like that.
Right. So where are some of maybe your favorite places, or also what are the easiest places to go to boondock?
Out west.
Yeah, well, most of the government land that you can camp on for free is out west. There's a little bit of out east and some in the northern parts, but mostly it's out west. Arizona, Colorado has a lot of boondocking. Montana has some. Washington, Oregon, California. I would say Arizona is probably the most boondocking friendly state, and we're just coming at it from the little experience that we have. So
right.
I'm sure it's debatable, but in our experience, Arizona seems to be the most accessible. There's a lot of places. There's a lot of open spaces.
We hit a bunch of different areas of Arizona throughout the year in 2018.
Okay, that was going to be my question. So you guys probably spent the majority of the time there then?
Well, it was kind of broken up. So we hit Arizona sort of first. It was actually the first state that we were in when we boondocked for the very first time. And we spent 6 weeks in Arizona going to a couple of different areas. And then we moved on. We went into Colorado and up to Montana and kind of did the whole outer border, and then came back down to Arizona and did the western parts. I know we did Quartzsite.
Yeah, that's the big Quartzsite's a big boondocking area. If you hear anything about boondocking, Quartzsite will probably come up at some point.
Yep.
There's a big rally there, big RV show in the winter time where it's just like this town of almost no population in the summertime explodes into like thousands and thousands of RVers, and like the businesses reopen. It's basically a seasonal town.
Yeah, we actually did in Quartzsite a meetup with a very large group of RVers. The Escapers had sort of an almost impromptu meetup where there
Right.
were, I don't know, something like 100, maybe
Yeah.
up to 200 rigs out there. And we met up for several days around New Year and kind of had a party out in the desert. And that was how we ended the year. It was really cool.
I'm so jealous. So if you guys don't know, the Escapers is like a sub-branch of Escapees RV Club, which was founded, I believe, in the 70s. And so now it's kind of trying to take like the working RV or the modern RV or whatever you want to say, like younger, working, not retired. And so this is like a branch that has really, really grown. And I think that first year they did it in Quartzsite, there were only like 40 or 50 people. And then, yeah, you guys said 200, I think. Was that this New Year's?
Yeah, this past year, yeah.
Yeah, it's so crazy because my friend Camille, she was on episode 10, I think. She went the second year and there were like 100 and now 200, and so it's just really, really growing. People have tattoos. Like, it is crazy.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
And I will say, little side note here, they put out an April Fool's letters saying that they changed their logo and like sorry to all the people that got
Yep.
that got the tattoo.
Goodness.
I fell for every single April Fool's. Like I never think about April Fool's, and I was like, oh my gosh, that logo is terrible. I would be so pissed. And they were like, oh yeah, ha ha ha, you should have read the whole article. I was like, oh, ain't nobody got time for that. I only read the first 10 lines. I was so mad. But yeah, they got me on that one. But yeah, it's just a great place to gather in person and online if you're a working RVer or you're a little younger. I really like it. I'm a part of it too. I've never been to that. I went to like an impromptu meetup at the Tampa RV show where I met Jerry Minchie. And that was pretty fun. Yeah, so let me refer back to my notes like we were saying. I swear, you guys, so I wrote that book, Tales from the Black Tank. This is the Black Tank curse. Like, I say something like, I'm like, oh, I'm feeling really good about tonight's show. And then it's like, actually, so it looks like the mic is back on. Everybody says I sound good. So you've stayed in Arizona. You mentioned Montana.
Yep.
And so where can people find where they can boondock in those public lands?
Andy's the guy. He does all of our he's the guy. He does all of our travel planning. He knows all the good resources. So I'm going to let him take this one.
Yeah, so there are campsite review websites like Campendium. They're really good. User-generated stuff. Freecampsites.net is another good one. So those are like some aggregates where user-generated content sort of sites where people go to places and then they say, hey, this place exists, and they tell you what amenities could be there. What one of the big things is like size. Like we have a pretty large rig, so we got to find places that we can fit. Whereas some boondockers have vans or just very small setups where they can fit at a lot more places. So it's really helpful to have those types of reviews. So I kind of look there first, but going even further than that, if we're being even more adventurous, you can go to like National Forest websites and look at what are called motor vehicle use maps, or MVUMs. And they show you all of the Forest Service land in the area, and there usually is a key on the map that shows you the particular roads where you can dry camp or no, that's a little bit Flagstaff actually.
Okay.
Flagstaff, yeah. So I if there's a national forest around, I'll probably look at one of the motor vehicle use maps just to see, and then I'll look at a campground review site to see if there's a place in there that someone has already found.
Okay,
if
so
it
that's
isn't-
called, sorry,
Oh.
of all my boondocking, like, research, I mean, granted, I kind of wrote it off to begin with, but I have an RV blog, I should know something, so, and all my research, like every blog post, whatever I've read, listened to, I've never heard of that, so it's called a motor vehicle usage road?
MAP.
MAP,
So
I'm sorry.
VUM. Yep,
all right.
They use abbreviations.
That sounds like a community
government.
college. But okay, that's really good to know because I'd never heard that. And so you can just go, like I could just Google like national forests in Florida or whatever state. Is that how you would go about searching it?
Yeah, usually, or if I'm looking at where we're gonna go, like Google Maps has the green patches on it that usually will say the whatever national forest. But if it doesn't, Technomaudia has an app actually out that will show you all the public lands in the country. By like you can filter. Yeah, you can filter by all the different governmental agencies, and there are different layers and colors on the map, so you can see in every state, where the public lands are located.
That's
another big helpful tool.
This is an app from Technomaudia?
Yeah.
See, I know them personally. I did not know that about them.
They have 3 apps actually, and
they're
good. They sell it as a package. So it's
do you know what?
Cell phone coverage. It's
national forests.
Yeah, public lands, and then state laws. So it's like it gives you a rundown of different states' laws. Seatbelt laws, liquor laws, speed limit laws.
Wow!
Everything
See, they're
that you
pros.
might need if you're jumping state lines.
Heidi's asking, do you know the name of the app or where people can find that?
I know the cell phone one is called Coverage with a question mark.
So it'll tell you the cell phone coverage all across the country, and you can look at the 4 biggest.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
the
it's
4 biggest providers, and it'll show you a map of their cell phone coverage across the country.
And then the public lands one is called Public Lands. And then state lines, I think it's called State Lines.
Well, that would make sense. They are very to the point.
Searchable
right.
for sure.
Right.
Keyword.
If you don't know Chris and Cherie of Technomaudia, they are very, cut and dry. This is exactly what you need. So yeah, that would make sense that their app names are Coverage.
Really straightforward. Yep.
State lines.
Yep.
That's awesome. So we do have some questions coming from the audience. I still have a couple of questions for you. But they're coming in. I don't want to forget about it. First and foremost, Karen is asking, where's Jax?
Oh,
He's
my
in
God.
the room.
That's my mom.
He's in the room. That's Andy's mom.
Hey,
Hi,
Mom.
Karen.
We put him away in the room because, he can
And
be...
that is an animal, not a child, for any of you that didn't read the
not a
bio.
child. That's our dog.
It's our dog.
That's so funny. Charlie Grace asks, how did you test your rig to find out how long you could boondock comfortably?
A little at a time.
Yeah.
So I guess we probably did a little bit of research just based on the size of our freshwater tank and the size of our black water tank, and figuring out, how long can people usually stay based on those things. And then
it varies widely, by the way.
It does. So we did a little bit at a time. I think we started with just a night or 2 by happenstance, out of necessity. We needed to stay overnight somewhere in a parking lot, and
also we didn't just jump right into it. So we didn't start boondocking until April of 2018, but we jumped on the road in middle of 2017 in July.
Right.
So we had been staying in parks and campgrounds and RV parks and stuff like that for 8 months really before we started boondocking, and all of those parks weren't full hookup. So we had gone with our water tank before with electricity or, something like that. So
you knew the limit of the tank.
Yeah, a little bit. We came into it with a little bit of knowledge of our rig,
Yeah, and trying to be conscious of it because we knew eventually we would want to start boondocking. Right. So we tried to pay attention and kind of understand that. Yep. And then once we did start boondocking, we did just a little at a time, and then we kind of added, and then
we got competitive.
Yeah, we
tried to push it.
What's the absolute furthest that we can go?
We're really gonna go for it this time.
Yeah.
And 14 days is our
living on
record.
the edge. Have you guys ever seen that Seinfeld episode where Kramer, he's got the gas in the tank and it's on E, and he's with the car salesman. He's like, let's see how far this baby can go. And he doesn't get off the exit. That's what it reminds me of. Like, let's see how long this water will last.
That's pretty much exactly what it is. So, we hit 14 days. That's our max right now. We're pretty good with it. I imagine we could probably stretch it a little further, but not too much further.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So before I ask, exactly what your setup is and everything, this is another good question that I saw a couple times. Teacher Escapes is asking, is your internet limited while you boondock? How does it affect your business?
That is our top priority. So we basically have like 3 things that we look for when we're looking for sites is cell phone coverage first and foremost, because that is our business and we have to be able to work.
And that's how we get our internet. So what we use is a hotspot from one of our phones. We have 3 phones, one for each of us and one for the business, 3 cell phones. Each one of them is equipped to hotspot, which means we can get Wi-Fi directly from the phone, but we have to have good phone coverage, good cell coverage in order to do that. So,
and we don't have a booster.
Yeah, so. We talk about it. It costs some money, so we haven't gotten one yet.
So yeah, it's down the list. We've entered a few contests that
try and win,
other
right?
RVer blogs are like, we're giving away a Wii boost.
Yeah, exactly,
and we're like,
exactly,
come on.
Right.
But we've been surviving with just finding good coverage around the country, and we've had to leave a couple of places when we get there, and it's like, well, it's just not good enough.
Right. And what do you guys do?
If we didn't, what's that?
What do you do?
Well, so if we do find ourselves in a place mistaken...
Are you talking about what we do for
What's
business?
your business, darling?
That's what I thought.
Sorry.
That's what I thought you meant.
Sorry. It's a resume writing and career consulting business.
Okay.
I had a background in working in career services for colleges, for vocational schools, helping students who are getting ready to graduate or who had just graduated put their resume together, prep for interviews, look for jobs, stuff like that. And then that kind of went awry, and with some encouragement from Andy, I branched out on my own as a resume writer. He had a good job at the time, so that was able to sort of sustain us while I was fumbling around and trying to figure out how to start a business. Luckily, I got connected with a mentor pretty early on, and she has really stuck with me and showed me the ropes, and really taught me how to be a resume writer and taught me some of the business side of things as well. So once that started to grow, and I realized I maybe needed some help with it, that was right around the time when we started looking at RVing. Yep. So long story short, it's a resume writing business. It's called resumelezlie.com. Lezlie is spelled with a Z, so it's a little weird, but if you want to know, you can contact us and I can give you the information.
Yeah, and the spelling is currently on your screen.
Perfect. Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, awesome. So, and are your phones on different networks then? So if you
No,
wow, really?
Thing that people do.
I know we're kind of against everything, all the stuff that you read. It's like, oh, you need batteries and solar and all the cell plans and WeBoost and all this stuff. We don't have any of it.
So this is like we're against it. We just
it just didn't happen. No, I love that. I love that.
Edge.
I love that because I get the internet question a lot, and Ed and I do have separate networks, but we did before we hit the road. And I always just tell people, like, keep it simple. And everything that I've heard you guys say is like that. Like, just keep it simple. Just, give it a go. And if it doesn't work that way, then you adjust, right?
Exactly.
So this is a great segue into, like, what is your setup? Do you guys have solar? Do you have, like, 14 days, you must have a huge battery bank. Like, how do you guys actually boondock?
All right. So we have a 35-foot fifth wheel.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm getting real serious now. 35-foot fifth wheel. It came with one battery. It was a die-hard marine battery that was really crap. It died on us almost immediately. Consequently, it died while the trailer had crashed onto our truck. We were trying to get it off the truck. This was the story from
the story we told from episode 2, yeah.
So our trailer crashed on the truck, and the battery died while we were trying to get it off. So we promptly bought a new, better battery, But it's a 31 Group 31 AGM battery, so it's 100 amp hours. It's not huge. It's not tiny, but it basically sustains us for 24 hours. So we have to, recharge the battery with either solar or our generator, which we have a 3,200 watt propane generator, which is like a $300 generator from Walmart. It is not even from Harbor Freight. It is nothing fancy. It is just very bottom of the line, but it works. Every time I pull the start handle, it fires right up.
Wait.
It's
I
from
feel like
Walmart.
we've skipped over this, though. You said we must have a huge battery bank. In case you missed it, we only have the one battery that we use. And unbeknownst to me, I did not know this for months and months after we started. Most people have more than that. And I did not know this. So we're like... Yeah. We make it work, but some days it can be a struggle, especially when we have to use both computers all day long, and the sun won't cooperate, so we can't get solar. And when I found out that most people are shocked to learn that we only have one battery, I was like, well, why can't we get more batteries? But we really do make it work, and it's fine for us now.
I think the term would be like a battery bank, like a bank of batteries,
yes.
a series.
More than just the one then, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So solar... That's we have two foldable solar panels that they weigh 8 pounds each.
So that's like a suitcase. You have like a suitcase thing, or
no? They're small and thin.
They're 3 40-watt panels, so that it's a tri-fold. They fold on each other into like one small panel. They're
sort
very
of like a
lightweight.
Science fair thing,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
so
my volcano.
Consequently, what we found out west, it's pretty windy, and these are really flammable, or not flammable,
flimsy
panels.
They didn't catch fire,
and so they cracked a lot. And
because the wind blew them over and stuff. But we're gonna get a new set and be smarter with them.
A couple of new ones. So yeah. But so that's how we survived. One battery. We've got an inverter, a pure sine inverter, 600 watt. It's not big either. That's a pretty small inverter, to run things we need to run. But basically, we just charge our laptops, charge our phones.
Try and take advantage of the sun as much as possible. One of our big accomplishments one day out west was being able to have so much solar power raging on us in one day. Everything was charged up. We were kind of looking for ways to use all the sun power that we were getting, and we were actually able to hook up our Wii and play video games purely with the solar power we were getting, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
What a time to be alive, folks.
I know.
That's amazing. Yeah, Heidi says that's so impressive. So you have 3 40-watt panels. Yeah, that is impressive.
Well, it's 2 sets of 3 40-watt panels.
Okay.
So they're 120 watts each, so we have 240 total.
Yep.
But by the time it all cracked and stuff, they're less than
much
150,
less,
and it got to the point where it wouldn't even charge our battery enough to keep our laptops going in the same day. So that's why we got new panels.
Yep.
So do you normally, right now, you got the new panels or they're on order?
No, so we do some family visits throughout the year too. So last year we were out west for almost the entire year. We didn't really get to see much of our family. So over the last 5 months or so, we've actually been in the Midwest, which doesn't have nearly as much boondocking. So we've really been in parks more over the last several months just so that we can visit family, see everybody, do all that stuff.
Plus
and then
solar is just not as good here.
That's true too. The Midwest is rainy and cloudy a lot more than it is out west.
Yeah, and there's a lot of big, large evergreens, and
Yeah.
And, oh yeah, I mean, we've got trees here. That branch fell on my car the other day.
Yeah.
I saw that. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad everybody was okay.
Y'all pray that they total that vehicle. I hate that thing so much. Just pray for me. So for the battery then, you have to, do you recharge it every day usually? Or you said it lasts about 24 hours?
Yeah, about, it just depends on what we use. We have LED lights. We try to use minimal lighting. We've got even some portable things, like a good friend, couple of ours who also boondock a lot, showed us these LED light kind of lanterns that work really well. They're dimmable, And so you
They're
can make them really
cordless,
low,
portable,
and rechargeable.
LED.
So we recharge those during the day, use those at night as much as possible so that we're not using our house battery on things like lights, and basically just try to use it for the essentials.
I'm just picturing like so I knew a girl in school that she was homeschooled and her parents didn't have electricity and they had like these kerosene lamps. And so you're saying like, oh, we just use lanterns. It's like the modern equivalent, right?
It does feel
Kind
like
of.
that. So they're shaped sort of conical and they've got a little handle at the top.
Yeah, where are they?
When I
These people
We're
are
using them right
camping.
now.
when I walk around with it, I feel very like Little House on the Prairie or something, like it does.
Laura, get over here. No, I think it's great. So something's wrong with our electric. I mean, we're not boondocking, but something's wrong with it. It's wired. It's like all the wiring is somehow related to one fuse, so our lights are always dim. And right now, like, my lighting is an LED, like, strip that we plug into the wall, and we no longer use... Can I move my camera? Is this risky? We no longer use these because they are just so dim, and the power, we're running on 30 amps, so if you have the air conditioner and the hot water heater on, the light is, like your Little House on the Prairie, like trying to write in your diary, and you can't see. So I think that's great. I mean, it's funny, but I mean, it's not funny when you think, oh, well, I just boondocked 2/3 of the year and, I can hang out in the most beautiful places in the world. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, Liz, it's not funny.
I think it's pretty funny.
I just pictured that little girl that I was like, wow, I can't believe you guys live without electricity. And now it's like, wow, you live without electricity? Just like my own mindset changing. So this is another cool question, and I'm interested to hear you. My answer is no. Charlie's asking, have you ever seen people with portable wind turbines for power for their rig?
I've done a bit of research on those.
Yeah.
I am quite the researcher, so I kind of look into everything that I can find. Anytime I have time, I'm looking into something. So I have come across wind turbines. Unfortunately, the reviews that I've seen is that they're not quite up to really powering, anything substantial on an RV. You kind of have to have like, 100 of them, and pretty much the wind speed has to be incredible to generate any real power. So it's like 40-mile-an-hour winds is like peak wattage that they generate. I know. So I was like, yeah, that's not really for us yet. It's like it's a developing technology, and maybe it'll get better if enough people invest in it. But don't know. It's not practical for us now, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I haven't seen anyone else. I guess if you were a stationary RVer, in a windy place.
In Kansas or something.
Yeah, in a windy place. But
don't RV there.
Yeah, so you guys mostly, I would say then, since your panels are kind of flimsy, do you just recharge with that propane generator?
No, I mean, we do
Occasionally.
when we need to, but we really don't rely on it all that often. We really do use the solar panels. We basically just figured out workarounds. We would find heavy rocks and put it, brace them with heavy rocks and stuff. So
bungee cords.
Write this down, folks.
We've used
heavy rocks and bungees. Get it done.
We've bungeed the solar panels to the truck many times, and to the trailer as well.
Yeah.
We get creative with it. We're creative problem solvers.
You do what you got to do to get that sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, we have just the generator and, I think we have 2 batteries. I could be wrong. I don't know. Ed, are you watching? We probably only have 1 as well. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, even yesterday there was no electricity on our street. And we just fired up the generator and everyone was like, oh my gosh, you have air. You have this, you have that. And so it's always good to have something, even if you're not going to be boondocking, 2/3 of the year. It's always good to have that generator or that, 1 pack of solar panels because you just never know.
Even if you're in a house, I mean, it's a good idea. Power goes out, storm. It's a good idea to have a generator for backup.
Yep.
Right. Well, especially where I am, Florida. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Hurricanes.
And
Yeah.
the great thing with our generator is that it's a propane generator, so we don't have to carry two types of fuel in order to power both all the propane stuff in the trailer and then a different type of fuel for the generator. We're able to use propane tanks for the generator and the trailer, which is really, really nice.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because ours is, it's a motorhome, so it's built in, basically.
Right.
And so if we have half a tank of fuel, like, in our motorhome, once it goes below, the generator will have basically none. It won't be able to, like, dip into the tank and take.
Yeah.
So that's
you don't
amazing.
Burn all your gas away.
Yeah.
Right. I guess it's a safety thing. There's some RV, like, horror film that came out a year or two ago. Have you seen it? Anybody in the comments? It's like where the RV goes wild or something.
I shared
he shared that recently.
I shared something in social media about that. I haven't seen the movie, but I just saw it, like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's got some, like, ex-Disney princess star in it or something, and I was like, okay, this is a stretch. But yeah, I guess it was, the generator sucked all the gas and turned evil. I don't know. It's really weird. All right, so
reasonable.
So you've got one battery, you've got your solar, you've got your propane. How much did all of that cost you?
Well, that...
As little as we could find it for, because we are frugal.
Yeah. So the generators, I really wanted the propane generator, but it happened to be the cheapest one, which was like, yes. But the solar panels were probably the most expensive. Those kind of portable panels, they really charge you a lot more for. So this second time around, we got just flat, regular, like, house panels or ones that you would mount to the roof. And I'm going to make a stand for them so that they are portable. But they put, when you look on Amazon and you look up portable solar panel, they charge 2 or 3 times more than a regular solar panel. So these ones were like $250 a piece, which is like a normal, 120 watt solar panel might be $100, $150. So it's kind of crazy that they just charge that much more by saying, oh, it's a travel panel. So we're going even the cheaper route this time. But
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't have a real figure to put on it, but it's under $1,000, I would say.
That's amazing, you guys. Seriously, I need to reevaluate my priorities. Because, I mean, we're living cheap. We're right outside of Tampa. I mean, 10 minutes from downtown. And, I think I'm, saving a bunch paying, $400 something a month. But yeah, if we
That's a great monthly price.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, low flow and and stranger's hair in the drain. I definitely get what I pay for here. Yeah, I think we might have stayed on the road a little longer, and not been so eager to start school if we would have known, just, about $1,000 could set us up in Arizona for a year.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Jamie says under 1,000 is incredible. Yeah, because, you always see these big, blog series, YouTube series where people are putting the panels on the roof and it's this huge project. And I love that you guys are saying, you know what, we need to be as frugal as possible. We like to be this way. I'm just going to get these panels and make a stand. And that's what we're going to do. I think that's really cool.
Pretty much.
And one thing that we think about that I'm not sure how many other people think about, but if you put your solar panels on your roof, then you always have to park in the sun. So if you have portable solar panels and you have a cord that allows them to extend a little bit,
which we had to buy,
which is fine. You can park sometimes if you can find it in the shade and then be able to put your solar panels out in the sun and still get that sun.
Which makes way more sense.
So it keeps your trailer a lot cooler. That just works for us. I don't want to have to park in the sun all the time just to get the solar power. So that's what we do.
Right. I just added a file to this scene of the lady going, testify. Like, it's so true. Like, and I've heard that from other, RVers, like, oh, I put it on my roof and, it costs X amount. but, you know, I can only use it half the time, or, you know, when I go to the west, when I go here, because it's on my roof, you know, it's literally strapped on there, I can't use it. So I've had other friends like you guys that say, no, I just stick with the as low cost as I can with the portables, and yeah, I just duct tape and big rocks and bungee cord it.
I mean, seriously,
and
bungee cords,
we're doing good. Yeah, I really like that.
It's just the same.
Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, if I didn't answer them already, just pop them in the comments again. I know there were a few like way at the beginning. I'm not going to scroll all the way up. We'd be here all night, and I've already messed up enough times in this episode. So before we get to any of the Q&A that comes, can you share some? I know you shared about Campendium and things like that, but maybe some other resources on how people can find spots or find those deals, you know, where they can purchase solar panels, propane generators, stuff like that. Any resources you guys want to give out?
Well, I wrote a blog, so unknownnormal.com/blog. It's how to find RV camping sites, something like that. So it's basically my process of how I find places for us to stay, including paid camping like RV parks and stuff. But I do a big chunk on free camping. And then at the end of that blog, there are like 20 resource links.
And there's a download, right?
Yeah.
There's a downloadable resource,
right.
So if you go to the blog, anybody who's watching, if you're interested in some of the stuff we've covered, some of the stuff we didn't get to cover, there's a downloadable resource for you to check out.
It's basically our stats of like all of our equipment that we use, so you can see it. You know, we haven't mentioned everything time-wise, but you can see, you know, everything that we have there. So Campendium is a good website and app. I want to say they are not good for Android for some reason, so I think they might just have an Apple app. I don't know. I could be wrong there.
Allstays, did you talk
Allstays is another good one. Their app. You can pay a little bit for it. It's like, you know, $2.99 or something, but it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I think Allstays is the one that doesn't have Android. Y'all can correct me in the. I think Campendium is good to go, but I think it's Allstays, or it's one of those very popular apps everyone raves about. And I'm like, well, that's great. I'm going to Jellystone because I don't have that app. And they've been saying Android, you know, in the works for, I don't know, 2-3 years now. But yeah, Charlie says, please put a link to the blog. Actually, Charlie, if you go to the description right below this video and you click see more, they actually have their blog, Facebook, and if you scroll all the way down, that last link is going to give you a link to download all those resources, all those apps they've referenced, everything. So just go to the very end of the link description, or I'm sorry, the video description, and there will be a link for you right there.
So there's like a ton of apps, and I can just rattle off like 20 of them, but I don't know how useful that would be. But you know, those 3 Technomadia apps are really good.
Yep.
We definitely use those. Allstays app is really good. Something that you might not think about if you're going out west is there's an app called Fires, and it tells you where all of the active wildfires are, because we kind of got stuck in Washington. In Washington, we were going to head down to Oregon, but there were too many wildfires like in the national forest that we were planning on camping in. So we would have just gone to those locations and been like, oh no, we can't stay here. But luckily that we checked ahead of time on the apps and you know, saw that, so avoided that. There are a couple more. BLM.gov, that's not an app, but the website.
Okay.
Yeah, so fs.fed.us is National Forest Service. That's where you find national forest lands. The Avenza map is where you look at the motor vehicle use maps on your phone. So you can look at those on a computer, but you need the Avenza app to download National Forest motor vehicle use maps. So that's just a couple of good resources.
All right, cool. Thanks, Andy. I love that you mentioned the thing about fires, because that's something a lot of people, especially new people that haven't RV'd, especially out west where those are pretty much rampant every summer now. Yeah. I wouldn't think of that, right? I just, be on my merry way. Oh, snap. put it in reverse.
Big
Let's
bummer.
go back
Yep.
up to Washington. So I love that. That's like an unusual but like really great tip. We've got one question for you, and then I'll let you guys to go. Heidi says, where was your favorite boondocking site and why?
We've been very fortunate to have some really, really good boondocking spots. I would say one of my favorite was early on. It was the first spot we stayed in Colorado. It was right outside of the Great Sand Dunes National Park, which is beautiful. I didn't even know that was there. Yeah. We drive up, I'm like, weird. What is this? It was gorgeous. It was massive.
Like Egypt.
Yeah, it was nuts. But there was public land of some sort. Andy found it, of course. I don't know. But the place that we were was this big, beautiful sort of golden field at the base of this gorgeous mountain where there were cows and horses just roaming free around every single day where we were. So
there's actually a picture of it on our website. Yeah, that's one of the main pictures we use on our website because it was beautiful and
awesome. It really, really blew my mind. So Colorado really has some gorgeous stuff. Almost everywhere that we went in Arizona was fantastic. Yep. And then the Pacific Northwest was
rainforest,
amazing.
We mentioned that we stayed in a rainforest, and people were like, in the U.S., like yeah, there's a rainforest on the Olympic Peninsula. Yep.
In Washington.
I like how we both point this way, like it's right over here.
Thing.
It's right back that way.
Yeah, lots of different beautiful places, but those are a few of our favorites.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Yeah, Heidi says, wow, that sounds really cool, cows, and then she put a cow emoji. I just have to confess, this is a little off topic, but I don't know how to use emojis.
You don't know where to find them, or you don't know what context?
I don't know where to find them. I know I'm a little off sometimes, but I think I could use them properly. Okay. And my mother just got her first smartphone last year. My sister bought. My mother's never had the internet. She's never used Google. Nothing. She's 150, living in a 50-year-old body. She's probably watching right now. I send her the link every week. And so because she got a smartphone. And she uses emojis, and she uses them properly. And it is shocking because I'm like, I've got to find them. I don't know how to use them. Like on keyboards and stuff, I'm like, how do people use it on their computer? Because on my phone, I can find them on my phone, dang it. I can.
They copy-paste from websites.
Yeah, true. I guess that... I'll just use GIFs. I'm the GIF queen. Anyway,
I like the GIFs too. They make me happy.
Anyway, yeah, Heidi says my 82-year-old mom uses tons of emojis. All right, that's a great way to end this boondocking episode. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Yep, tell us what your website is, and tell us about that download one more time.
Sure. Unknownnormal.com is the travel website. You can find the blog, just unknownnormal.com/blog. I think it's one of the most recent blogs that we have up there. How to find...
Yeah, it's for the TVC. You'll see the image for TVC on there, and then there's a thing that says download the resource, and that's the sheet that we used for this episode. But the blog that we have to find campsites is how to find campsites.
Yeah.
So it's on our blog.
There. All right,
and then our business is resumelezlie.com as well. I can help you with any resume needs that you have. I can help with career consulting. I actually do a free consultation for everybody, so you can get in touch with me, and I can help you with anything you need.
And she's great. She wrote a resume for Ed last week, so... I don't promote anything I don't know about, and I know about Resume Lezlie. She's great. So thank you guys so much for coming on, and we'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Liz. Thanks.
Bye. All right. No, muted them. Wow, I got that one right, but for some reason, I just muted myself. Anyway, whew, That was a rough episode for me at the beginning there. But thank you guys so much for watching. That was so fun. Next week is going to be episode 20. Holy moly. Hopefully I can figure out this mute thing before next week. And we're going to be talking about travel tips. I did this on episode 2, talking about travel planning. And we're going to talk about it again because I know summer's coming up. I know that was one of my biggest pain points when we were actually traveling. Even now doing the Weekend Warrior thing, it's just really overwhelming for me. So I think, we could all learn something. This is Epic RV Tips. This is Steve and Courtney. I'm just going to blow them up. They actually are fully retired, and they've got a really interesting story, and they've been traveling, and I'm pretty sure Courtney was like an actual rocket scientist or something. So an actual rocket scientist is going to be giving you some great tips next week on how to plan your travels. So tune in next week. Thanks again.